I have a little exercise that I want us to start off with. This is not a full poem. This is going to be a single stanza that we're going to do a little exercise with to warm up. Okay. Take a moment to read this to yourselves, and I'm going to give you a central question I would like you to be considering with this. I know that Kush has planned for us a whole workshop built around the idea of erasure. And one of the things with erasure that's fundamental is word choice, because you got to pick the right words and you got to leave out the ones that don't adhere to what the mission is. Okay. So we're going to be kind of trying to prime ourselves into looking into word choice a little bit. My question for you to open as you're playing around with this is I'd like you to consider, what is the emotion that you're left with? What's the central one if you had to pick one? And as some of you know, I don't want to say like I'm hard to please, but I tend to like to dig into things a little bit. So be prepared to justify your answer a little bit. I'm going to be looking for some proof. Cheryl's jumping in right away. So the emotion that Cheryl is picking up is a sense of overwhelm. Okay, we can play around with that. Let's imagine overwhelm is the emotion. Where do you guys see overwhelm?
It seems kind of, the whole image seems kind of chaotic.
Okay, hey, hang on, because we're throwing a lot of words out. Chaotic is a good word too. We can talk about that too. I want to focus entirely on overwhelm just for a moment. I do like chaotic. Tell me, Alexa, come on.
Well, I was saying there are these all-encompassing words here, like anything, everything. There's like a list, but it doesn't have any commas in there too. So it all just kind of runs together. The way that the line breaks are working as well. It's like the next line, like there's no the lines run on as well.
Hmm.
So everything, the world was an unplowed field. It needed a casserole, you know. So there's just like this kind of urgency that's created from the way it's written.
I'm so glad you brought the form into this too. Would you guys all agree that, or let me rephrase, I try not to ask like loaded questions. How does the lack of punctuation create a sense of overwhelm? Or does it create a sense of overwhelm?
I would have to say it definitely does create a sense of overwhelm to have to run into each word. Like they all seem to be one thing that she's doing, but it's so many things in one.
Mhm. Not to mention, you also have that repetition of my mother, my mother, my mother. And, you know, whenever a poet chooses to repeat words too, like, you know, that it's important because if concision is our craft, really, this to use your words on the same word, the same phrase. Like there's my mother, my mother, my mother. She could do any, like there's a, yeah,
Facts.
definite sense of.
I mean, I'm very biased, but that first line is, I think, one of the like boldest first lines to not only repeat my mother in the first line 3 times and then end on a pronoun. Like what?
Mm.
That's that takes some cojones. That's really good. I was like, all right, come on, Ellen.
You're repeating my mother, and my mother is the title.
It's like, and my mother is the title. Like, it's like that is. When's the last time you made a bold choice with your poems? Is this? It's that is a gamble, and I like it. We got to risk more. We got to take some risks. I agree with what you guys are saying about overwhelm and lack of punctuation. And I like, Destiny, I believe I was you saying things run together when we take the punctuation away. You know, it's to use Debbie's words a moment ago. She mentioned chaotic, and that's one of the things that can be a danger when you take away the punctuation, right? If you don't do it well, things can kind of start crashing into each other. Um,
I wonder, is it overwhelmed from the perspective of the mother being overwhelmed? Is it overwhelmed as the, like, is the speaker watching the mother and being overwhelmed? Or is it overwhelmed as, like, as a reader reading it, I am overwhelmed?
that's the question I was thinking about as well. For who was, I believe it was Cheryl,
Yeah.
who brought it up. So is it overwhelming in the sense of the speaker, or is it overwhelming in the sense of the reader, or is it both? Could always be both.
Both.
Could
I
always be
think it's
both.
both.
Okay. Cheryl, if you have some thoughts on that, I would love to see it in the chat, or if you want to speak with us. Beyond overwhelm, Debbie, you also mentioned chaotic. When you said chaotic, was it for mostly the same things we just mentioned?
Yeah, pretty much. In terms of how it was running in, and then also the way the imagery about how it almost like it's almost like it expands. I mean, when you go to the unplowed field is like a dress, but then it's fixed, right? It's almost like one thing after another keeps on needing fixing, and the mother just keeps on spreading out to fix one thing after.
Ah. So it's almost like, oh, I totally misread Sosa's comment. She says restlessness, because I was thinking like relentless. It's like ongoing. It's just one thing, and then another thing, then another thing. Before we move on to our next little exercise with this, so as you mentioned restlessness, defend
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, I think that the absolutism that somebody else mentioned, she could do anything, so she did everything. And then these like bold statements, the world was an unplowed field, like all the things that it needed, it needed. And then I did think about like the speaker, like it's her mother. So, like another alto in the choir, her motto was apply yourself. The secret of life was spreading your gifts. So, like, there's another like absolutism there. Why hide your gifts under a bushel? You might like that's a biblical reference. Um, and just like I really thought about like what is motivating the the character that the speaker is talking about to keep moving and moving. And like somebody in the yeah, so I really thought about like this restlessness, like why the mother feels the need to do all this stuff constantly.
I like that you're getting to motive. I think we always need to be thinking about motive. I appreciate you bringing that up. Okay. I have a little exercise. I do have to apologize again. I wasn't planning on running an erasure workshop myself, but I have some things I think are actually going to lean into erasure pretty well. So take a moment before we change. Oh, Alexa, just this piece makes me sad. It's a sad. There's a lot of weight here. The whole poem is. I definitely recommend reading the whole thing if you haven't read this poem before. It's one of my favorites. I'm very biased towards it. But take a moment, read this stanza one more time to yourself. What I would like you to do, you could do this in a Word document, you could do this on a piece of paper. I want you to rewrite the stanza. Does anyone remember the first line? It only gets harder from there.
No, I only remember the three mothers.
Well,
Or something about what can she do or something. I don't know. That's about all I remember.
That's
Then the
fantastic.
dress, and yeah, that's about all.
How's the first line go? How's the first line go? Someone save me.
Debbie got it. My mother. That's what she said. She was like, yeah.
It's missing one word. One word.
Could
My
do.
mother, my mother, my mother, she.
There it is. Let's go.
There it is.
Yeah. My mother, my
Yeah.
mother, my mother, she. The she makes it's a little pronoun just snuck in there. Yeah. Okay. Does anyone remember the second line?
Could do anything, so she did everything.
So it's coming through. Oh man, that Phoenix Sun does things. Okay. Okay. Third line.
She thought the world was a field to plow.
Okay.
Something like that.
Any other details?
The world was a field to plow. Addressed to him. Scrape need to fix.
A
Very
scraped me
solid.
and needed.
Yeah. Look at us. We're writing the poem. This is so good. Next line.
Another casserole.
And
It
casserole,
needed
perfect.
another casserole, another alto in the choir.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Our facilitator's here. I want to give her a minute to get composed and settled. So, first of all, like that's amazing you guys remember that much. Second of all, let's be a little bit realistic real quick. Have you guys ever tried doing this with people you read poems to?
No.
Mm-mm.
Ask
No.
them what they remember about what you just read them?
Nope.
You ever done that? Okay. It's not an accusation. I was just wondering if anyone did it. Okay.
No, it's yeah.
Why is that valuable, do you think?
It
That
it
way
Oh.
you will
shows you
know.
what part stuck. Sorry.
Shows you what sticks. Shows you what sticks. Okay. Because you can start to get an idea of your word choices. Because the ones that are fresh, we can bring it up again. If this poem was full of cliches, why would anyone remember it? Right? People remember things that stand out. If it lets me bring it up again. Here we go. So, I don't know what Kush is going to, what journey she's going to take us on. But my guess is that with erasure, again, word choice is really important. We want to, how do I put this? Most likely, if you're here, your writing is already good. Okay? So let's not worry about that. Let's start worrying about the next thing. Is your writing worth remembering for people? Are you doing things that hit people on such a deep emotional level that it resonates and they have to keep it with them? Are you able to do that? Because if you're not, why are we going to read your poem? Because there's other people out there that are writing work that people will remember, right? Okay. So let's be mindful of our word choices. And one way that you can make word choices more memorable is think about the emotional context. We mentioned a lot of great words about this paragraph, right? We mentioned overwhelm, restlessness, and things like that. Okay. The more that you have a consistent thought that people can take through what they read, and the more they can layer all these words like, oh, the overwhelm is here, it's here, it's here, versus, oh, here it's happy, here it's sad, here it's frustrated. Like, not to say that those other emotions like aren't valid, things like that, but the more mixed up it is, it's harder for me to forget, right? But if I can like go in on one thing and just go deeper, 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 yeah, not all the images we're going to remember. We had to work together to, oh yeah, there was a casserole, there was a dress, there was it, but like the deeper you can go with your word choices and your consistency, I think you're going to have a greater chance of creating work that not only is strong but also impactful. And I think that's what we want. I think people want to be read and feel significant by being remembered for what we say.